Hello and welcome to the show. We are back on Forza Horizon 4 for the second part of the Beetle Scavenger Hunt. The way this works, in case you haven't seen, the first part is straightforward. Dotted around an area of the map for this part 2, we are using the, I think it's like the Lego Stud Park or something it's called. There are going to be 5 peels. You have to crash into all of them and then head back to the start-finish line to complete a run, but the order in which you tag all the cars is up to you. So you can decide the various routes, various strategies and plans will go on. Not only that though, the vehicles that you are going to be driving are A-class and they had to be from the same manufacturer as Part 1. Part 1 was a big off-road quarry. Part 2, well, it is mostly tarmac. There's some jumps, there's some bumps around here, but yeah, it's a predominant, well, I say tarmac, it's Lego bricks, but I believe it is textured as tarmac, basically. So, yeah, you've got to do a completely different sort of build, potentially might work around here. For me, I was racing with the minis, and I was going to be sticking, not with this, not with the Verbal's terrible, it's just for a little sort of a drive around the area, but I was going to be sticking with front-wheel drive, and you can get away with that, potentially, in, it's A-class still, but with the kind of tarmac area. So here we are on the grid with the Mini. We're going to be the one out there setting the, I guess, sort of benchmark time, if you like. There is one dotted around up by these containers, which is where we're going to head to first. Now the advantage of the Mini is it's small and it's light, very agile. I love the Cooper Works GP Mini. It's a wonderful hatchback to drive. A little bit of lag from the peel. It kind of just pings into the door, pushes the Mini a bit wide. Lost a small bit of time. It's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, again, there is a little bit of desync with some of this goes on that makes it sometimes difficult to deal with collisions. They don't always got 100% work. But we've got the second of the peels. We jump down, and this is where maybe the Mini loses a little bit of time. Because the landings of the jumps, this is not set up as an off-road vehicle. We'll get a couple of bigger landings for the car. Not going to lose too much time though. It's still fine. We head up towards the top. We give a punt to the green machine. Now it's a big jump off towards the square. It's not as easy to decide on what these areas are called around here, but we'll give that one a punt. And then there's one more that's on kind of a platform in the middle. We're going to loop our way back towards. Avoid the Lego bricks because they will slow you down a little bit if you hit them. Oh, it's too far for the Mini. We have let that. It's not an ideal to get the car turned around. We're going to lose a whole heap of time. That is not good for the Mini. Well, we'll boop it, we'll spin it around. It could have been worse, but it's not good, that's for sure. And then we run up towards the finish line where the Lego road becomes tarmac again. It's across the line. I mean, it's a 25.9, but it's a big miss. It's a big miss of one of the peels, and that is going to be costly. That is going to be costly. And next we have got, well, the current leader. The Jeep, is going to run second through the course. So it did well at the opening stage. We go a completely different direction for the Trackhawk in this one. The vehicles had to be different to the ones run in the first round. Admittedly, Cherokee and Trackhawk aren't massively different, but they are different models in Forza, so it's allowed. So that jumps, there's the one on the top. We're going a completely different way, jumps over and squishes a peel through the floor. Fair play. Does get it, though, this time. No doubt about it. Clears that one. Now we're heading up towards the corner peel. Gives that a boop. It goes around the outside. It's a little bit stuck on the sort of containers, I guess, pseudo-containers, however you want to call them. And now we're going to slide our way up the what looks like a multi-storey car park. It's not quite, because the Jeep, but it's all-wheel drive, we've got a good chunk of power. It won't be as agile as the Mini, of course. It's much bigger, it's much heavier, but I've overshot that. I guess maybe it was going for the sort of the turnaround and then punt on its way back. So it's done fairly well so far. We're going to jump back. Okay, it goes back past the one that it hit earlier. We're through the Lego bricks towards the final one up on the bridge here. It's grabbing the brakes. We'll get it stopped, gets it turned for this little climb. Yeah, it doesn't maybe not quite get change direction as well through there. Now we've just got that run towards the... Oh, there's a little gap. That's clever. I didn't know about that little gap there. The Jeep is across the line and it will take the lead some 10 seconds quicker. A 16.2. A good run from the Jeep in all of that. Volkswagen is up next, Ewan, with the Global Rallycross Beetle for this. So this again, it's A-Class. That starts off as S1, can be dropped down to A-Class. Similar start for the Beetle. It drives up across the top, and we are going for the big jump down onto the landing. So heading up towards the top of the car park for the next one. So I think this is going to do a similar, I would imagine, similar line to the Jeep, only a slight variation, if you like, on it. Slides its way up the car park here. We'll boot the green one out of the way. It loses a little bit of time. It's actually a difficult boot because you kind of get air time. You're sort of hitting the peel while you're jumping. You kind of lose a fair bit of momentum. We're into the corner spot. We'll give that a nudge. Is carrying it away. That's going to lag ping its way back. Nope, it doesn't quite, or we don't see it at least. If it does, now we run through the Lego bricks. Don't overshoot it. Nicely done for the Volkswagen. It pushes it through the floor again, but has got the tag, and now we've just got one more vehicle. Oh, there's some traffic going on. Not ideal in all of this, and it's not quite got stopped. The Beetle slides through slides to a halt. It's not ideal. Lost a little bit of time in all that, but we'll boot the one on the bridge, and now it's got to run to the line. It's doing very, very well in terms of the time here. This is going to be a quick time for the Volkswagen. It's across the line. It's a 1:10.9. It goes fastest so far. That is a good run. That is a very good run, I think, for the Forza. Difficult to know, of course, because we're still at the early stages. Liam is up next on the line with the BMW. This car was in 4th place, I think. It was very close between, might have been 3rd with the BMW and the Renault from round 1. The BMW is off the line, and it is heading the same direction that I did. So we're up towards the bridge vehicle first. It kind of weaves its way up there nicely, just skims past the nose. Now, it's risky, because if you miss that, you're in trouble, but if you don't make contact, you can save yourself a little bit of time, because you lose momentum if you hit it. We're up towards the half-pipe. Oh, it's too far! The BMW has gone too far. It's launched clean over and will roll, and it doesn't come back down onto its wheels. That is not what we want. Much like I overshot one of the vehicles, literally physically jumped over it. The BMWs just carry too much speed on the way up. There is a downside of that route. If you get it wrong, you will just launch the vehicle. So that's another tag for the BMW, but a big chunk of time. Big chunk of time got lost, made worse by the awkward landing. So we're up onto the car park. We've got 3 more vehicles to get in this one. This is the similar route to the same route to the one that I took. Oops, it's very, very close to the one at the top. As I mentioned, there's a little desync for some players, so what it's showing as contact on their screen may not be showing on my end, but that's okay. We give a big push to the one in the corner, and now it's just this one. Don't overshoot this. Don't make it worse. The BMW, you can see the brakes come on. Sensible. I should have done that personally, but sensible run for the BMW. Boops the one on the platform. Now it's just a run to the finish line for the Z4. It's a little bit of an unlucky run for the car. It's across the line at 31.7. Not quite what it needed. The Audi of Stevie is up next, and my mini brethren are getting in the way. Quite wanted to turn around, but just wanted some time on camera. The Audi is also off towards this left-hand side of the line. The all-wheel drive hatchback stalls a little bit trying to get going, loses a small bit of time. Boops, the first one in all of this, is running. I'm not quite sure where it's going. That's not a destructible. I think they thought that was a destructible wall. It isn't. Oh no, it's gone wrong for the Audi. I know the thinking. And if you hadn't tested that wall, yeah, thought that was destructible. A lot of things are around here, but that bridge railing is not. I mean, a good theory, you can kind of jump up there and you lose less time weaving through the more technical corners, but it's a good theory if the thing can fall apart. Sadly, it cannot. So we're up the top of the half-pipe. Doesn't overshoot that one. We'll give a boot to the peel up at the top. We've got 3 more vehicles to go. So again, it's back to the similar route that I took on the first one. I think there's perhaps a few less options in terms of routes around this one. Personally, having seen other people's ideas, I think that the Jeeps were certainly the kind of jumping through that gap towards the finish line is very helpful. However, yeah, this one is not too bad. It boops the one in the corner. That's fine. We're going to go underneath the sign. We've just got one more vehicle to go and grab for the Audi here. Don't overshoot it. No, you've got to go on the brakes earlier than that. Ooh, I think the height was good. The angle was wrong. It pinged past. The Audi's got to turn around and come back again. It's the second one to overshoot the platform. I think it would have got it. It just, I think when it hit the ramp, the car twisted ever so slightly away from the intended trajectory, and there is the Audi across the line. Unfortunate. A couple of mistakes from the Audi dropped it down. The Renault of Ollie is up next. The Minis are back. I totally haven't paid them to try and screw with everyone else's runs. Totally not done that. Where are we going with the Renault? We are off and underway. We're heading towards the... No, we're not going towards the half pipe. We're going for a different route in this one. We're off straight towards the platform for this. Okay, so I guess you kind of carry a little bit more speed. You can kind of make most of this sort of longish straight for the Renault, for this the Alpine, the A110 here. Boops the one in the corner, just a light boop, and now we're straight off towards the multi-story car park. I believe this will be rear-wheel drive, but it's rear engine, of course, very light, but it doesn't have a crazy amount of power in A-Class, doesn't need it. It's all about the, I guess, kind of the agility, all about the handling. Up here, we'll head around the top. It gives a little whack to the orange vehicle up there. So we've got one more vehicle to go and get. Ooh, that's not quite where you wanted the ramp to be, is it? Jumps down to head towards... Oh, no, we've got two more vehicles, sorry. Still got the one on the bridge. We're on towards the half pipe. We'll give that one a nudge. Ooh, the car gets a little bit stuck trying to push it out. That's the downside of the really small light vehicles is, you know, they can lose a bit of time pushing the Peels and sort of dealing with that contact, if you like. A couple of attempts were made to try and turn into all of that. It's not going to beat the Volkswagen through here as it hits the last of the Peels, but it is going to be a good time, a little clonk on the wall for the A110. Run up towards the finish line. It's a sub 20, it's a 19.2. Can't match the Jeep or the Volkswagen, but a good run nevertheless. At the halfway stage, here is how it looks. The Volkswagen is the fastest by almost 6 seconds up there over the Jeep, but the Jeep is looking good overall because the Jeep's main rivals, the Renault, it beats by 3 seconds. The Mini, it's beaten by nearly 10, and the BMW also got into a lot of trouble. It's beaten by a fair chunk, so it's looking very, very good for the Jeep in all of this. Stevie at the bottom was unlucky, overshot the Peel and thought a wall was destructible that wasn't, so the Audi not having had a great time. Up next, we go to Toyota. Longbow driving this. Didn't have the greatest of first runs as the Minis continue to fart around in the background. They've got to be involved. Yeah, didn't have the greatest of first runs with the Arctic truck. The MR2 is going to have a try. We go around the outside of the sort of pseudo tyre bundle, if you like, through there. We're up towards the bridge for the first one. Now, it is snowing a little bit. The weather effects on the horizon make minimal difference in all of this. The MR2 doesn't jump across the bridge here. Are we heading up towards the... No, we're not. Where are we going with the MR2? Oh, it's going for the jump. It's going to try and jump up to the top of the car park bit. It has leapt. It has made it. Now, the downside is the drone mode can't follow, so we've got to whiz it around and try and find out where the MR2 has gone. Oh, it's not quite made it how it would have wanted to. I think the idea was to try and jump it onto the actual up ramp, which you've got to do at quite an angle to get that one right. That's a difficult jump. The MR2 gets away with it. It loses some time because it was wiggling around. It very, very nearly didn't make it in all of that, but it has got that vehicle. It boops another one, so now this is an interesting... I feel like this is a very, very high risk. Could be fast. I guess the Toyota hasn't got much to lose at this point, having had a poor first run, so kind of go for the gamble run. Boops the platform Peel in all of that. We've got one more to go. I mean, time... That's looking like a good... If you can get it to work, it's looking like it certainly could be quick. It really struggles pushing that car out of the way here. We jump off the top of the half pipe, and then it's just a run to the finish line. It's a good time for the MR2. Can't quite beat the Renault. A 19.6 in the end. A brave strategy, that one. Brave strategy indeed. Up next, we have got the Nissan, and we have the Minis doing city shenanigans. We get it, yep. I don't know why they do a U-turn. We actually crash into the back of the Pulsar. Amazing. Wonderful. I mean, Pulsar is kind of the ideal vehicle almost for this kind of thing. Got a little bit of ground clearance, got all-wheel drive, small, light. It's a very, very quick vehicle in this game. A little bit too fast. A little bit too fast into the first corner. Just overshoots a smidge through there. We're heading up towards the bridge vehicle first. We give that one a nudge on the way past. Are we going for the Longbow line? Looks like we're going for the big jump. It has, yep, it's going. It's going to go for the big ramp. I say, you've got to be flat out. I mean, A-Class cars are quick, but this is a big jump, and that's too much to the left. It's clonked into the edge of the car park, and that is a problem. That is a big problem for the Nissan. I don't actually know where it's going to end up getting respawned. The downside of this run is you've got to be 100% perfect. You've got to line it up from a long way back, and if you don't get it full speed, you don't get the jump lined up, you are going to be done for, and that, I think, is the end. The Nissan is done. It's out. It's going to be a dump for the Nissan. There we have it. That is the inherent risk of that line. If you get it wrong, it's a costly mistake, and it pretty much sacrifices the whole run. Up next, we move to Mazda. Now, the Mazda had some trouble in the core of the MX-5, did struggle in the snow and ice. This should be better suited to the Glisker's RX-7 here. Again, we can see the aggressive stuff. The rule was, as long as the cars were behind the line, they could angle themselves, position themselves however they wanted, which is why we're seeing some of these aggressive start positions for some of the vehicles. And once again, we're up towards the bridge for the RX-7. Gives a boop to that one. Now, what way are we going to go? It goes for a little bit of a jump down there. It wiggles its way ever so slightly. We go for another big... We're going for a jump, aren't we? Yep. It's going to go for the ramp. Can we get somebody at making this ramp correctly? The Mazda is quick up towards this. It clears the jump very, very nicely indeed, and it doesn't fall down the back. I believe it's got to the top. The problem with this run is, for me, from a commentating standpoint, is I can't actually fly the drone up there. If I whiz around, I get lost. Where has it gone? I'm trying to have a look for where has... I've lost an RX-7. It's punted one off the edge. It's got to have fallen down somewhere. Where is it? It's gone. It's over there. We lost it for a little bit. Obviously, unfortunately, we can't see. The RX-7 did a great job of making that jump and landing on the upwards ramp, basically, to tag the car up at the top. I mean, time-wise, though, it's still going to struggle to beat that Volkswagen. It jumps onto the platform, punts that vehicle out of the way. It's not going to do it. It's looking quick. It can ping past the vehicle on top of the half pipe, but it isn't going to beat... Can it get second, though, for the RX-7? It jumps down. It's just got to get across the line. It does. A 15.8. I mean, well done for managing to make the epic jump work, but it still can't beat that. That Volkswagen's run was wonderful. I think that might be the way to go. We move next. Jaguar. We got Danger this time representing Jag with the... D-Type. Big slide, overcooked it. Very much overcooked it into there. We saw the Pulsar go a bit wide. The Jag's got even wider through there, but that's fine. It's got it worked. I presume all-wheel drive swapped, judging by that slide. It is wide. Are we going to see a big jump from this one? We are not, I don't think. By the looks of it, no, it's not. It's not committing to the jump. It's going to go for the platform. Boop that one out of the way. Don't get too much airtime. Okay, so we'll go for a tamer, calmer, more sensible route around here for the D-Type. Up towards the corner one we go. Is it going to go? Nope, it doesn't go around the back of the containers. You can save a little bit of time if you do that. You've kind of got to slow it down more for the corner, but you take a slightly tighter line, so probably the way to go if you get it right. Bit of understeer, actually, from the Jag through there. Now we slide around the... I called it the car park. It's the closest thing. We'll grab the one at the top, quick... sort of 180, jump off the roof of there. Oh, no, that's the jump again. So far, two cars have tried that line, and both have hit the ramp. On the, I think you're trying to kind of angle towards the half-pipe section, or go inverted half-pipe, but you don't realise, oh, we're going a slightly different way off the side of that. I'm not sure that was the way to go. I think you would have wanted the more flatter landing. It's across the line, it takes fourth. 16.7 for the D-Type. It's a good run, actually, for the Jag and all of that, even a bit of a slightly unusual finish line approach. Blakey, representing Lamborghini, is up next with the Mini going past, and it's going to do a U-turn, but it's too late. The Lamborghini is off and underway. The Lambo is going for a different route towards this first car. Okay, fair enough. We've not seen anybody go this way. Slightly different way to get up towards the bridge one. Is there going to be a nudge there, jump through the gap and up towards the half pipe? I think that might be the route they're going for. So they utilise that little gap, get a slightly better, but it's obviously slightly slower on the way into the bridge one, but you get a better run, perhaps up towards the top of the half pipe. Okay, again, something different has been tried in all of this, and I get later and later in the runs, there is a few people just kind of go, you know what, we've seen the same stuff, I might struggle to beat them, so let's try something different and see if we can make some time up that way. The Lamborghini is struggling a little bit for traction. I feel like that's where it's going to be losing. It might be losing a little bit of time just from the car itself, if you like. It's sliding around. We've got another one to boop on the way through here. It slides its way into the side of that. Now we've just got to line up for the run towards the platform, the sort of middle central one here. Oh, a little bit of a funky approach, but does get it, clonks it through the floor. We are not going to be beating the Volkswagen in all of this. It's taking a slightly funky line on the way back to the finish line. Always ends up in another one of the minis through there. It's not a bad run from the Lamborghini across the line. A 21 at 3 for the Miura. Goes into a 7th position. And for the final vehicle to run through the course today, we've got Lado representing for the Escort. Cosworth is off and underway, heading up towards the top. Almost jumped a little too far over the top of the half-pipe. I mean, the Ford would have to complete this in about 10 seconds, I think, if it wants to take an overall victory after an eventful run at the quarry. We're hoping for a little bit more of a straightforward time for the Escort Cosworth. I mean, we've seen this line has been used so far. For the Escort is a little bit understeery through all of there, almost gets itself into trouble. We're going to jump up towards the next. Again, we've seen another car that kind of leaps up there and pings backwards from the collision with the Peel. Not something that I was necessarily expecting to see in all of this. It's something you've got to be aware of. You kind of want to carry a lot of speed up there. We give a little boop, almost turns into the container, gets away with it. So we're going to head back towards, I would imagine, towards the central platform part here. We'll nudge into this one. Not too fast, don't want to overshoot it, don't want to miss. Again, little bit slow kind of pulling away from that one. And it's off towards the bridge for the last one. Big air time for the Ford across there. Jumps on the brakes to do this kind of little twisty section, if you like. We're going to go for, not going to go for a U-turn actually, all the way around. We're going to jump down through here, actually take a much more sensible, like, minimal airtime for the Escort around here, as no mistakes from the Cosworth. Runs up towards the finish line. It's a 23-0 for the Ford. A steady run, certainly less spectacular than the run through the quarry, and that is the last of the cars. So here we have our leaderboard from part 2. It is the Volkswagen that goes fastest. Ewan's Beetle will take the lead ahead of the Mazda that made that spectacular jump. The Jeep will sit in 3rd. Danger Man's Jaguar in 4th, ahead of Ollie's Renault. Longbow takes 6th, trying to pioneer that jump. I mean, it's not a bad time, considering that had massive problems on the jump. It made the jump to the top, then got stuck on the platform, had to spin around, so all the time gained from trying the jump was lost in the recovery. Actually, still not a bad time from that Toyota to sit in 6th, ahead of Blakey's Lamborghini in 7th. Lado takes 8th with the Ford. Things went wrong for me down in 9th with the Mini, and a similar story for Liam with the BMW. Both of us had fast runs, good runs in the first round. Both of us got into trouble at the Lego play. Stevie sits in 11th with the Audi. Again, similar troubles with that one. And the Nissan, sadly, it did not finish. The overall results, we have them here, and it is victory for the Jeep. It had a very, very good run through the quarry, and again, a very clean, very sensible run. Wasn't quite the fastest at the Lego Island, but it was fast enough to take victory by 9 seconds from the Renault. I would slip to 3rd in all of this, almost further down as well. The miss hitting the Peel cost massively in that one. Otherwise, I think it was looking quite good. I don't think I could have beaten the Jeep, honestly, even if I had hit the Peel. I don't think I was quite on for the time needed, but would have been a lot closer for me. I'm slightly disappointed in myself in that one. Ewan gets 4th. Good. It was a good first round, just a couple of little mistakes. A very, very good second round for the Volkswagen. Very nearly beats by Mini. Danger Man gets 5th with the Jaguar not far behind either. Liam slips down the leaderboard a little bit into 6th with that BMW. Longbow is only a second or so behind with a Toyota in 7th. Blakey sits in 8th with a Lamborghini. Gliska, after a poor round at the quarry, makes up some time at the Lego Island to climb to 9th, but it's just lost too much with the MX-5 in the snow. Stevie will sit in 10th with the Audi. A couple of misses on the Peels, unfortunately, scuppering the runs for the Audis. Lado will take 11th. A much better second run, but problems at the quarry were spectacular with the Nissan DNFing. And well, there we have it. This was a lot of fun, actually. This was an awful lot of fun to do. It's kind of a slight little different bit of racing. I like the whole find a route, find the best route through, and find the best route through the courses, as well as having to deal with manufacturers and types of cars and different surfaces and all that. There was a lot of stuff going on with this, how you build your cars, what you run, how you drive them, and all of that kind of thing, which was really, really interesting, and I really, really thoroughly enjoyed this one. It took a little bit of work setting it up. We were kind of faffing around. Gliska did a lot of work with this one, as I said. Appreciate very much the ideas and thoughts and all that went into making this work. It started out as this was a Top Gear idea, and then we kind of took it and morphed it and twisted it around a bit, and yeah, it was really good fun. As I said, it's a very different kind of racing, and a pretty damn close competition in all of that. I'm glad I picked Mini, something different. I wouldn't normally go for the Minis, but it was definitely competitive. I just goofed it a little bit in the second part, but yeah, I enjoyed this tournament very much. Maybe we'll have to come back to something along these lines, maybe in GTA or something else at some point if people have enjoyed this. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.